Hello everyone, welcome back to a new episode at Nada's Cloud. I am Nada and I'm here to share my thoughts, my opinions and experiences with you in different sectors and from different aspects. Today there's a topic which attracts me actually, which is the power of feedback. I read an article about it and I found it very interesting. I will leave the links below in the description. So, I found out that feedback, has many things to discuss about, rather the purpose of it, its benefits, the culture of feedback, people who accept the feedback, how to build a constructive feedback, and how to learn how to give a feedback, also to accept receiving it. Let's start by defining the feedback. What is a feedback? According to Grant Winnings, he defines the feedback as information about how we are doing in our efforts to reach a goal. Okay? In other words, it is information about one's performance to identify strengths, weaknesses, and areas for improvement. That's simple. Okay. Now, what is the purpose of this information regarding our efforts? What's the purpose of it? There is an article called The Power of Feedback for John Hattie and Helen Temperley. They classify the purpose of feedback as reducing the discrepancies between current understandings or performance and a desired goal. So, the feedback tells us how we are doing toward the goal, but should additionally provide information about what is needed in order to meet it. Okay, let's say this again. So we have a feedback which tells us how we are doing toward a goal. How is our performance, our actual status in our path toward a goal, but should also provide information about what is needed in order to meet it. So not only your actual status, but what do you need in order to reach your goal? It's like Maps or like Google Maps or any other application. It will direct you, guide you toward your goal and reach it either faster or easier or smarter. So that's supposed to be really constructive for personal growth. Now, what are the benefits of feedback? Okay, now we knew the purpose. What is it? What's the purpose of it? So, feedback, actually, as far as I see, it lets you become more effective and active at work or studies or at your business, because we can confront feedbacks in many sectors in our lives, in the healthcare system, in educational system, like in schools, in companies, in business, in hospitals, in restaurants, in many, many places. Where there is performance and work and benefits or results or fruits or something, there is feedback at the same time. So it is actually a way for people to have a better understanding of their impact on others, let's say, and the extent to which they are achieving their goals. So the feedback is relevant when you find yourself dealing with a new work or life context. It is actually very beneficial for us as individuals, for companies, and for the society, because feedback help you personally grow, and your growth will impact others and will help others and will contribute, of course, in your society, in your family, in your company, in many, many aspects in your life. Now, let's discuss something. Different cultures, or let's say, how different cultures receive, accept, or give a feedback. Well, let's point out something that all cultures believe, that critical opinions should be given constructively, for sure. But the definition of constructively varies from a culture to another, from a person to another. For example, some countries prefer direct feedback, frank and straightforward. And it is probably the most efficient way for people to gather information about their performance. But, we must bear in mind that feedback, both positive and negative, is communicated differently across many cultures and many countries. We will go deeper soon. As we said, there are some countries prefer direct feedbacks, like very honest and straightforward, while others prefer indirect feedback. It means diplomatic feedback. Ooh, let's see. To clarify or illustrate how feedback can be perceived differently across different cultures, let's listen or take a look or highlight some examples. There is an example of a German finance director in his 40s. He describes how his failure to decode a message from his British boss almost cost him his job. Oh my God. Markus Klopfer is a German finance director. He said, "In Germany, we typically use strong words when giving negative feedback or criticizing in order to make sure that the message is registered clearly. During a one-to-one, my British boss suggested that I think about doing something differently. So I took his suggestion, I thought about it, and decided not to do it. Little did I know that his phrase was supposed to be interpreted as, change your behavior in the right way. And I can tell you, I was pretty surprised when he called me to his office to chew me out for insubordination. He was about to be fired. Okay, I will clarify it for you. What we can learn from his story is that there are two different cultures, two different ways to deliver feedback. As we can see, in British, they are more diplomatic. In Germany, they are straightforward, as we said. They give direct feedback, while in Great Britain, they give indirect feedback. So, not knowing this information could have costed him the loss of his job. So it's really important to know the cultural background of the person whom you will give a feedback. Okay. In this example, we saw a diplomatic feedback. Okay, Nada. Then, is it possible to be too honest? Yes, but there are some limits should be respected. Why? Because even in cultures that value directness, there can be a limit. Let's see an example so we can understand why being too honest in giving a feedback will look maybe disrespectful or rude. Kwang Yong-soo, a Korean manager who had been working in the Netherlands for 6 years, made this mistake. Let's see. The Dutch culture is too direct, and Koreans do not like to give direct negative feedback. Okay. So when I first came to the Netherlands, I was shocked at how rude and arrogant the Dutch people could be with their criticism. Oh. When they don't like something, they tell you bluntly to your face. Oh, okay. I spoke to another Korean friend who has been in the Netherlands for a while, and he told me that the only way to handle this is to give it right back to them. Yes. Okay. Now I try to be just as blunt with them as they are with me. Great. Kwang's, the Korean manager, Dutch colleagues, so the colleagues of the Korean manager, later complained that they found him so aggressive and angry that they were typically unable to work with him. Okay, so even with direct feedback or cultures who adopt the theory, or let's say the principle of direct feedbacks, you cannot provide a too honest feedback. There are some limits, okay? Because being overly blunt or harsh can be seen as rude or disrespectful. It will look like mimicking a direct communication style, and it might not be appropriate for some situations or a lot of situations. So being too direct could backfire or cause offense, or let's say make communication less effective. So in my opinion, there should be a balance in communication, even within cultures known for directness. So always finding the balance or being wise in giving your opinion or feedback or review, even with cultures who adopt directness or are known for directness. Balance is very important. Which means, or actually to sum up both examples, let's say it's very crucial to have an understanding or at least a background about the differences in cultures, especially when you work or study or live in a cross-cultural team. There are actually some things to remember about feedback. First of all, we said in order to reach your goal, you need a feedback. So actually, feedback is not an advice, praise, or evaluation. No. It is an information about our efforts to reach a goal. So please put that in mind. Second, actually, some research say you have to make mistakes. Why? Because if people know that the environment is a safe place to make mistakes, they are more likely to use feedback for learning. So please make mistake to learn, to receive feedback, to grow. Third thing, which is most important, ask for a feedback because you need it. Whether you're doing a new project, and new studies, new research, new business, new or old, or you have to ask for feedback so you can know where is your place in the road or toward your goal. Where are you located? And feedback will definitely direct you or guide you or show you where are you located, if we can say so. Fourth thing, effective feedback occurs during the process, when there is still time to act on it. What's that mean? As I said before, when you are in the middle of your path or in the path toward your goal, that means you are still in the process toward your goal. So when effective feedback occurs, it will help you avoid surprises at the end of the process, at the top of the hill, at the end of the road. So if you're reaching a goal, before you reach your destination or your goal, it is better that you have feedback in the middle before being surprised at the end, because you cannot guarantee what you will find at the end of the road or at the top of the hill or at your destination. So I think it is more efficient to opt for continuous feedback, because that will help a lot your process or your performance. So bear that in mind, please. Last but not least, feedback is not just someone telling you what to do, but encouraging you to explore alternatives. Alternatives are important. When someone tells me that the path you're taking is the wrong one and it's the longest toward your goal, and he doesn't give me an alternative, then I will be lost, because now I don't have any other solution and I don't know where is the shortcut. So alternatives are important, and being flexible also is important. So make sure to ask for feedback from the right people who could give you alternatives and additional solutions. Now, Nada, how to give and how to get a feedback. Now we're talking from the beginning about what is it, the purpose of it, the benefits of it, and all of these stuff. But now how to give it, or how to receive it. Actually, let's be honest. Giving and receiving feedback effectively is a critical skill that everyone should develop. When giving a feedback, let's start by giving a feedback, then we will go to receiving it. Because until now we highlighted more about receiving feedback, but now let's talk about giving a feedback. First thing first, try to be positive. Why? Positive feedback stimulates the reward centers in the brain, leaving the recipient open to take a new direction. Yes. So try to give a positive feedback. Second, don't avoid negative feedback. Giving positive feedback doesn't mean that you have to avoid negative feedback. No. Please don't. You don't have to avoid it because it is corrective feedback. Just make sure when you give a corrective feedback, or let's say negative thing that you saw or noticed, make sure to follow it up with the suggested solution or outcome. Bear that in mind. So when you tell someone, hey, you're taking the longest wrong road, so give him a shortcut. It will be much better to finish your sentence or to complete it. That will be much more better. Or you're doing it in the wrong way. You don't have to do it that way. Okay, how am I supposed to do it? Well, you have to do it that and that and that. Okay? 3. Please be specific. Be clear. Like, when you give a feedback, focus on specific issues which you have noticed, where performance was insufficient. That will help a lot the receiver. The more specific you are, the better it is. So try to go to the points directly and highlight the weaknesses to the receiver, so they can know from where to start correcting themselves or their work or their projects. 4th, okay, now we will go to the facial expressions. Yes. So the non-verbal or non-verbals play also a role in giving face-to-face feedback. So pay attention to your facial expressions, tone of the voice when you deliver a feedback. Keep in mind that the way you say things is as important as what you're saying, especially when you're not familiar with communication practices. Okay? Yes, so that plays an important role as well, so keep it in mind. Provide, 5th thing, provide or ask for regular feedback. To the greatest extent possible, everybody should always know how they are performing in their role in order to grow, both as professional and as a person. Yes, I think you already know that because we talked about it already. One more thing, build confidence. Build confidence. Try to create opportunities, let's say, to build confidence and skills in a safe environment where feedback is not a negative thing, but something desirable. I think this is more for companies where they have to assure to their, like the company should assure to their employees that don't worry about sharing your feedback because we need it, because at the end it's in our good and it's beneficial for us. So building a safe environment for workers, let's say, or students at school, or any other place, can provide confidence to the provider or to the customer or to the employee to share negative, or let's say share feedback when it's necessary. So keep in mind that. There is also another thing. Deliver feedback privately. Yes. A lot of people pretend that they are giving feedback in a group of people just to embarrass the other person, while they could have given it privately. So if you are willing to foster improvements of your friend, your colleague, your surroundings, or to your receiver, then it's better to do it privately. Because sometimes when you do it in a group of people, you will embarrass the other person, or it's kind of attack their character. So, yeah. Giving feedback privately is much more better. You can say to him or her face to face or in private message, not in group messages, okay? You have also to set development targets. By setting measurable and achievable targets for ourselves, there is a clear way to track our improvements. What's that mean? To track your improvements, your performance, your status, as I said earlier, then you have to set a development target. Like, you have to set a measurable or achievable targets for yourself so you can track your improvements. Now, let's go to receiving feedback. Yes, yeah. Let's go to the receiver. Actually, let's say first thing, constructive criticism is necessary. All of us, we have to deal with feedback. Maybe at work, at school, in life. So we have to accept the role, or to know that constructive criticism it is actually a valuable tool in the workplace, in the school, in the personal life. So we have to accept it, and not taking it personally will actually make it easier for us to move on, or to take it into consideration, or to use it to change our way at work, our business model, our way of studies, our teaching method, etc., etc. You have to see feedback as positive. Why? Because people who fail to see feedback as constructive, well, they often lose morale and are far from improving. That's why you have to accept it, not take it personally. Try also to find a common ground. Accepting failure and committing to changes will help you move forward. For example, I am a fresher, or let's say new, in recording podcasts. So I always ask people or my friends, how is it? And they tell me, like, people like who doesn't want to hurt my feelings, they say, oh, it was really good, it was really nice, very good start, etc., etc. I'm like, thank you so much, I'm happy for it. And also I'm looking for something, I will not say negative, but constructive or corrective, so I can know what are my mistakes. For example, a friend of mine told me you have to reconstruct or correct your skeleton script of the podcast. Another one told me you should have talk more and gave more details in such episode. Another one told me you should have discussed this topic more in English. Other one told me, for example, you have to correct the editing of your music and you just gradually decrease the volume and integrate your voice at the beginning, etc., etc. Other one told me why was it so slow? So I was happy to receive this type of feedbacks. Why? Because I have to note them down and correct them. If everyone will tell me, "Wow, you are great," I don't know what am I in the road. Am I on the right path? I'm not. Where I am? Where am I going? How is my performance? Definitely I made mistakes, so I need to detect them because I cannot see them sometimes from my own perspective. I need someone else from exterior, let's say exterior or another angle, who can tell me, "Oh, you made this mistake. Oh, you did that. Oh, you should have corrected it. If you did it that way, it would be better. If you do it that way, it would be better." That is more constructive for me. Okay. That doesn't mean that I don't like or I neglect the good feedback. Of course I like it, and it's encouraged me a lot, actually, and I always remember it so I can keep recording, or keep moving forward and keep recording and keep being innovate and try to find different ways and other ways to move forward or to enhance my performance or make what I'm doing better. Yes. So yeah, that was an example so I can clarify for you what I'm trying to explain. Don't deny criticism. Please don't deny it, because if the criticism is undue, calmly explain your side of things rather than pointing out your opinion or making excuses. Okay? So, for example, I released a video and my friend told me the quality of voice is not the best. I'm not going to cry, okay? Or I'm not going to fight with her or him or say, no, but this, but that. No, I should put in mind that the next video should have a better quality of voice or of audio. Yes, this is good for me, because if this person didn't tell me that the quality of audio is not good, then I will continue the same way. This is not good. So I should not deny criticism. Of course, criticism is very wide. I just gave a simple example to deliver the image or the picture to you, but of course criticism can be expand, or let's say it has a bigger wide definition, and it can include so many other things. One more thing, please don't dwell on mistakes. Accept the mistake you made and take practical steps to avoid making them again. Yes, that is very important. So if my friend told me once that the quality of this is not good, or the podcast was very short or very long, or the music was very loud, or the music was not good, and why did you interrupt your this with that and blah blah. If I keep making the same mistakes, then I'm just rolling in a roller coaster in the same place. I'm not moving forward. No. Or like I'm like a hamster who is rolling in the same place. And that's not a growth at all. And that's not practical, neither beneficial. So don't dwell on mistakes, please. Relax, take a breath, and pause. Sometimes you need a pause, to be honest. Why? It helps you slow down reactions and choose a more helpful, adaptive response. So, pushing the pause button, sometimes it's helpful for you to restart again the process or rethink about how to correct the current mistakes and move toward my goal. So, challenge your negative thoughts when you are feeling stress or defensive about the feedbacks you receive. At some point, you have to take a breath, pause, think wisely about it, and look for a flexible way to correct it. Yes, rather than reacting in defensive and aggressive way towards the person who give you the feedback. Keep that in mind. The importance of feedback is very important. Why? Because the people who receive little or no feedback fail to develop any sort of engagement towards their projects, their goals, the company, the study, the research. If I will give my example, which I have in mind at the moment, if I'm not receiving feedback from people, I don't know how to continue this journey, podcast journey, or creating content journey. So I need a constant feedback because that will guide me literally and show me where I am and where am I going and which path I'm taking. So if I'm not receiving any feedback, I won't be able to develop any skills or my performance or any other thing. So I think we should be grateful for receiving feedbacks rather than take it personally or be so sad about it or be so rude with ourselves and feel disappointed. So normalize receiving feedback and giving it as well, because I see that it contributes a lot in the growth of people or in the personal and professional level of every person. So try to ask your friends or surroundings for feedback and evaluate your reaction toward it. Let's try this. Let's try it. Try to ask your friend or surroundings about something you have done, about your behavior, about toward a specific situation where they were present, or about your work to your supervisor or colleague, about your projects, studies projects or thesis from your friends at school or university, or from any other projects you're doing and you have someone who saw it or know the process that you're doing. Try to ask and evaluate your reaction. So if you reacted in defensive way or take it personally, evaluate that, write it down, or just pause and think with yourself, like, why did I react that way? Try to give it a try. Try to give it a try. I think you know what I mean, like, give it a try. Ask for feedback and please give feedback. How many times I said feedback in this podcast? Please write in the comments. Okay. Yes, try to give reviews, either good or bad. Try that. Please just try, because that will enhance the critical thinking in you, believe me. That doesn't mean you will see only the negative things or the positive things, but you will have, let's say, different vision toward things or people. Let's enhance our critical thinking and normalize receiving and giving feedbacks, because that's crucial. That's really crucial. Yes. That's all what I have right now. Let me know your opinion in the comments or by private messages or DMs. You will find the links of the article in the description, and I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, and if you have other things to say about this topic which I didn't cover, you can also say it in the comments here or in my DMs. Yes, and let me know if you have specific topics you want me to discuss, so I can make research on them and give my own opinion about it. I will leave you right now, and see you in the next episode. Take care.